Are you over 60? Take a look down. That soft roll of fat around your middle, the one you've perhaps jokingly called your spare tire or dad bod, might seem like a harmless part of getting older, a little extra padding you've earned over the years. But I'm here today as a men's health coach with over 20 years of experience to tell you a truth that most doctors won't. That belly fat isn't harmless. It isn't just padding. It is an active metabolic war zone. And the primary casualty in that war is your manhood. Every single day, that visceral fat is quietly, systematically strangling your erections, killing your testosterone, and inflaming the very blood vessels that are essential for a firm, confident response. You might blame your age, your stress levels, or your genetics. But the real enemy is sitting right there, around your waistline. It's an enemy that's not just making you look older, but is actively dismantling your masculine vitality from the inside out. Today, we're not going to talk about sit-ups or fad diets. We're going to pull back the curtain on the 3 silent prices your penis pays for that belly fat. I'll reveal the biological mechanisms, the hormone hijacking, the blood flow blockage, and the nitric oxide theft that are happening inside your body right now. And most importantly, I'll show you the simple, foundational steps you can take, starting this morning, to begin reversing the damage, reclaiming your hormonal balance, and restoring the powerful blood flow you thought was gone for good. So stay with me, because the journey to reclaiming your confidence and power starts not in the gym, but with understanding the enemy you're truly fighting. If you're ready to learn the truth and take back control, do me a favor right now. Click that subscribe button and tap the notification bell, because you won't want to miss the secrets we share on this channel. And let me know you're with me by typing reclaim in the comments below. Let's begin. The first, and perhaps most devastating price your body pays, is hormonal sabotage. You see, that visceral fat around your organs isn't just inactive storage. It's an active endocrine organ. Think of it as a rogue factory operating inside your body, and its main product is estrogen. Yes, you heard me right. Your belly fat is an estrogen factory. Here's the simple science. Inside your fat cells, there is an enzyme called aromatase. The primary job of aromatase is to take your powerful masculine hormone, testosterone, and convert it directly into the female hormone, estrogen. The more belly fat you have, the more aromatase you have. The more aromatase you have, the more of your precious testosterone is being stolen and turned into its opposite. It's a hormonal hijacking happening in plain sight. You're left with lower testosterone, which kills your libido, your energy, and your muscle mass. But you're also left with higher estrogen levels. And for a man, elevated estrogen is catastrophic. It contributes to more fat storage, especially around the belly fatigue, mood swings, and directly counteracts the mechanisms needed for a strong erection. It creates a vicious cycle. Belly fat converts testosterone to estrogen. Higher estrogen tells your body to store more belly fat. The cycle continues, and with each rotation, your vitality spirals further downward. Let me tell you about Richard, a 68-year-old retired accountant. He came to me utterly defeated. "I do everything right," he said. "I walk every day. I don't eat junk food. But I have this stubborn gut that won't go away. I have zero sex drive. I'm tired all the time, and things just don't work anymore." His doctor had tested his testosterone, and it was on the low end of normal. But what his doctor failed to test was his estrogen, which was alarmingly high for a man his age. His belly wasn't just a sign he was getting older. It was the very factory that was feminizing his hormones and robbing him of his manhood. We didn't put him on a crazy diet. We focused on one thing: implementing specific morning habits to control the hormones that encourage belly fat storage. Why the morning? Because your body's hormonal rhythm is primed for fat metabolism when you wake up. Your cortisol levels, the stress hormone that encourages belly fat storage, are at their peak. By starting your day with a protein-rich, low-sugar breakfast, you stabilize your blood sugar and insulin, which tells your body to stop storing fat and start burning it. This simple shift begins to dismantle the estrogen factory. For Richard, this meant swapping his morning toast and orange juice for scrambled eggs and spinach. Within 6 weeks, he reported not only losing over an inch from his waist, but a feeling of waking up he hadn't felt in years. His energy was back. His drive was returning. He was shutting down the aromatase enzyme by shrinking the factory it lived in. He took back control of his hormones, not with a pill, but with his breakfast plate. Now, let's talk about the plumbing. An erection is purely a matter of hydraulics. It's about blood flowing in and not flowing out. But what if the pipes themselves are rusted, corroded, and inflamed? This is the second price you pay for belly fat: chronic inflammation. Visceral fat is not just a passive lump of tissue. It is constantly pumping out inflammatory molecules called cytokines into your bloodstream. These are not the good kind of inflammatory agents that help you heal a cut. This is a low-grade, constant, systemic inflammation that acts like a slow-burning fire throughout your entire vascular system. This fire is particularly damaging to the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels, a layer called the endothelium. A healthy endothelium is smooth, flexible, and responsible for producing the most critical molecule for erections: nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the master signal that tells your blood vessels to relax and open wide, allowing blood to rush in and create a firm erection. When your endothelium is under constant attack from the inflammatory cytokines produced by your belly fat, it becomes damaged and dysfunctional. It gets stiff. Plaque begins to build up, and most importantly, its ability to produce nitric oxide plummets. Imagine your blood vessels are like a brand new copper pipe, clean and wide. Now, imagine pouring a slow trickle of acid down that pipe every single day. Over time, it will become corroded, narrowed, and clogged. That acid is the inflammation coming from your belly fat. Let me tell you about Mark, a 71-year-old retired teacher. Mark had high blood pressure, and his doctor had put him on medication for it. He also struggled with erectile dysfunction, which he assumed was a side effect of the medication or just his heart getting weaker. He was treating the symptoms, but completely missing the source. The source was the significant amount of visceral fat he was carrying. That fat was the origin of the inflammation that was damaging his entire cardiovascular system, from the large arteries around his heart, causing his high blood pressure, to the tiny microscopic arteries in his penis, causing his erectile dysfunction. His ED wasn't a separate issue. It was the canary in the coal mine for his overall vascular health. The key for Mark was to extinguish the inflammatory fire. And this, again, starts in the morning. Your dietary choices set the inflammatory tone for the entire day. A breakfast high in sugar, processed grains, and bad fats is like throwing gasoline on the fire. But a breakfast rich in anti-inflammatory foods like omega-3 fatty acids from walnuts, antioxidants from berries, and healthy fats from avocados is like spraying a fire extinguisher through your veins. We had Mark switch his morning bowl of sweetened cereal for a bowl of oatmeal with walnuts and blueberries. A simple, powerful, anti-inflammatory meal. Within a few months, not only had his blood pressure numbers improved, but he reported a reliability and firmness he hadn't experienced in over a decade. He wasn't just clearing his pipes. He was healing the lining of the pipes themselves by removing the source of the fire. We've covered how belly fat hijacks your hormones and inflames your blood vessels. But there's a third, more insidious mechanism at play. Your belly fat is actively stealing the very molecule you need for an erection. It is a nitric oxide thief, and its weapon of choice is insulin resistance. Here's how it works, and it's simpler than you think. Visceral fat makes your body's cells resistant to the effects of insulin. Insulin is the hormone that helps shuttle sugar from your blood into your cells for energy. When your cells become resistant, the sugar can't get in easily. Your pancreas responds by pumping out more and more insulin to try and force the doors open. This state of high insulin is a disaster for your erections. Why? Because the endothelium, that same lining of your blood vessels we just talked about, is directly harmed by high insulin levels. High insulin is toxic to endothelial cells. It impairs their function and directly inhibits the enzyme that produces nitric oxide. So, even if you don't have severe inflammation yet, the simple presence of insulin resistance, which almost every man with significant belly fat has, is like turning off the nitric oxide spigot. Your brain can send all the arousal signals it wants, but if the local machinery for producing nitric oxide is shut down, the blood vessels cannot and will not open. Think of it like a light switch. Arousal is your finger flipping the switch on, but insulin resistance has cut the wires leading to the light bulb. You can flip the switch all day long, but the room will remain dark. Let's talk about John, a 65-year-old who was pre-diabetic. He was focused on his blood sugar numbers, constantly worried about tipping over into full-blown diabetes. His erectile dysfunction was a secondary concern, something he felt he just had to live with. He had no idea the two issues were one and the same, originating from the same cause, the visceral fat driving his insulin resistance. His body was screaming for help. The insulin resistance was the metabolic siren, and the ED was the most personal, most noticeable symptom of that deeper crisis. The solution wasn't a pill for his erections. It was to restore his body's sensitivity to insulin. And where does that battle begin? At the breakfast table. The typical breakfast of cereal, toast, or a bagel is a carbohydrate bomb that sends your blood sugar and insulin levels into the stratosphere, worsening insulin resistance for the rest of the day. We had John adopt a crucial morning rule: no naked carbs. Any carbohydrate he ate had to be paired with protein, healthy fat, and fiber. This simple change, like adding a handful of almonds to his oatmeal or eating an apple with a side of Greek yogurt, blunted the insulin spike. It stabilized his blood sugar for hours. This morning's strategy is crucial. It sets a stable metabolic foundation for the entire day, preventing the hormonal roller coaster that damages your arteries. After just 2 months of this approach, John's blood sugar levels fell out of the pre-diabetic range. And to his astonishment, his erectile function began to return, slowly but surely. He hadn't taken a single new medication. He had simply stopped poisoning his endothelium with high insulin every morning. He reconnected the wires to his light switch by tackling the root cause. Now, as you've been listening, you might think of these 3 things: hormone hijacking, inflammation, and insulin resistance as separate problems. They are not. They are a tightly interconnected, self-perpetuating vicious cycle, with belly fat sitting right at the center, fueling the entire destructive loop. Think about it. The belly fat creates insulin resistance. The resulting high insulin levels cause more fat storage, especially in the belly. That same belly fat then pumps out inflammatory cytokines. The inflammation worsens insulin resistance and damages the blood vessels. Simultaneously, the aromatase enzyme in the fat cells converts your testosterone into estrogen. The resulting low testosterone and high estrogen make it harder to build muscle and easier to store fat, further feeding the cycle. It's a downward spiral. Each problem makes the others worse. This is why just focusing on one thing, like taking a testosterone supplement, often fails. It's like trying to patch one leak in a pipe that is corroding from 3 different directions. You cannot solve this problem in isolation. But this is also where the good news lies. Because these problems are so interconnected, when you target the root cause, the visceral fat itself, you don't just solve one problem. You begin to unravel the entire cycle. When you make changes that reduce belly fat, you are simultaneously reducing the aromatase enzyme, which boosts your testosterone and lowers your estrogen, reducing the output of inflammatory cytokines, which allows your blood vessels to heal, and improving your insulin sensitivity, which restores your body's ability to produce nitric oxide. It's the ultimate synergistic effect. You are hitting 3 birds with 1 stone. This isn't about finding 3 different solutions. It's about finding one core strategy that solves all 3 problems at once. And that strategy is a consistent, targeted approach to reducing the visceral fat that is poisoning your system. You now know the truth. That belly around your waist isn't a passive sign of aging. It is an active, aggressive force working against your vitality every minute of every day. It's hijacking your hormones, inflaming your arteries, and stealing the very molecule that makes an erection possible. But knowledge is only potential power. Real power comes from action. You have stood at a crossroads and learned what's really happening inside your body. Now you have a choice. You can continue down the same path, allowing this vicious cycle to continue its destructive work. Or you can decide right now that today is the day you start fighting back. I'm not asking you to overhaul your entire life tomorrow. That's overwhelming and leads to failure. I'm asking you to make one small strategic change, just one. For the next 14 days, I challenge you to change just one thing about your morning routine based on what you've learned today. Maybe it's swapping your sugary cereal for protein-rich eggs to shut down the estrogen factory. Maybe it's adding a handful of anti-inflammatory walnuts to your oatmeal to extinguish the fire in your veins. Or maybe it's simply ditching the morning toast to stabilize your insulin and protect your nitric oxide. Pick one, just one. Commit to it for 2 weeks and simply observe. Observe how you feel. Observe your energy levels. Observe the subtle changes in your body. This one small step is a declaration of war against that belly fat. It's you telling your body that you are back in control. Your health, your vitality, and your confidence are worth fighting for. The power to change the trajectory of your health is not in a doctor's prescription pad. It's on your breakfast plate. If this video has opened your eyes, please click the like button so that this critical message can reach other men who need to hear it. Share it with a friend or a brother who is struggling in silence. And most importantly, go down to the comments right now and tell me the one change you are going to commit to for the next 14 days. I read every comment, and your commitment will inspire countless others. Thank you for your time and your trust. The power is in your hands. It's time to use it.